That's nice. Okay, so 9:24. Okay, this is great. So before I start, as usual, we always give a recap on what we've done. Exclusive, I've seen your message. Yeah, I see you. A recap of what we've done earlier. And for the last two sessions, Blessing has taken us on them. I was not really around, but I was behind to see what is happening. And I must really commend Blessing for her good works. I mean, really been trying. In the last session on arrays, she was not prepared for it. I mean, I did not even inform her. It was someone else who was supposed to take, but the person was not around, and I was in a tight position, and she took it boldly, confidently, and I can tell you that even those who were there can also tell you that she did well. And I'm Blessing. Please, thank you for that. I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you, David.
Oh, okay, you're welcome. So I would also want us to also be like Blessing now. Like me, I would love to be like Blessing, that I'll be able to take any topic at all without preparations. It's a nice thing to do. So the session before the last one, we talked about pointers. So can somebody tell us what he or she learned in pointers? Anybody? While I'm trying to share my screen, I would love somebody to tell us what he or she has learned from pointers. Anybody? If you want to talk, you can raise up your hand, click on the raise hand icon, and I will give you a chance to speak. Anybody? Wow, nobody. Okay, I'm not surprised anyways. Some of us know what we want to say, but we just don't want to say it. Just want to be behind the scene. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. There's no problem. So can any other person tell us what he or she learned from arrays, aside from Blessing? Anybody? Pointers and arrays. You must not tell us from A to Z what you've been doing, but just tell us where or what you took home. Okay, nobody still. I want to believe we really understood pointers and arrays. Okay, I will say what I took home from the class. On pointers, I learned that pointers are variables, but the type that stores memory addresses. And for arrays, I learned that arrays are used to store a particular kind of data. For example, if you want to store numbers, you could store a range of numbers. If you want to store strings, you could store all strings. Thus, you cannot store both numbers and strings in the same array. It's not just work. So that's what I took home. And I hope others will took home something. So Blessing, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I want to open up my online C compiler. So today we actually had 3 aims in our lesson. In our session today. And the first one was for us to discuss on our improvement or what we've done so far. I learned that. Okay, somebody's typing here. Let me just read out his message. I learned that arrays can be a collection of objects, or if you want to store many things, you can use arrays. Okay, that's very correct. Well done. Okay, so today on our session, we're having 3 objectives here. And the first one was for us to discuss how far we've gone. Is the program helping you, or do you feel it's not helping you at all? Are you behind? What are the challenges, or what are the things you think we would have done to improve? This particular one now will use 15 minutes to actually discuss it. I would have created a form for feedbacks and say, okay, we should fill the form, but I would love to hear it from us. Yeah, because the way we tell and the way we speak are not the same thing. So please, for the next 15 minutes, if you have anything to say about our program, how has it helped you, or are you still the way you were? Are we too fast? what do you think we would have done to help the program, or any suggestions at all? Please, we are open to it now. So if you have anything to say at all, please you raise up your hand and I'll give you the time to speak. That is the aim of this session now, for us to discuss on the program, on our community. When I say program, I mean our community. So, anybody who wants to speak? For the aims, and the first aim here is for us to discuss about the program, or let's say our community. Has it been helping you? Is there something you want to say, or are there suggestions? What do you think would have done to improve it, or stuff like that? So, Justice Obasi, okay, please speak.
All right. Good
Justice,
evening.
please go on.
Yeah, good evening, David, and good evening, everyone. So,
Okay.
first of all, I want to say thank you for this opportunity. With this program, this community, I've been able to learn a lot, especially in the area of functions, variables, and other subjects on the earlier stage. The only side I've not really grabbed very well is the pointers array, but I know them. But when I try to do LLS programs or tasks, I find it kind of challenging. But I don't know why. Maybe I'll still, with time, I'll catch up. But when it comes to functions and variables and other aspects that were difficult for me to understand before, I think with this program, I've been able to grab a lot. I can now close eye and do some functions, and before you know it, I'll get it.
Wow.
So it's okay for me. So I don't know if it's possible, maybe for pointers and arrays. Since they
Justice said, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, since
I'm with you.
Since pointers and arrays are kind of difficult to understand, even malloc, I didn't really, malloc and recursion, I've not really grabbed those ones. If it is possible, I don't know, but
Hello?
if it's possible, we can create maybe a chance anytime to recap on it and understand it more. For me, or maybe others have grabbed it fully more than me.
Okay, Justice, I've heard you. Okay, thank you very much, Justice. I'm impressed actually for you to say you've been able to understand functions. At least if I did not hear any other thing, I heard functions. So I'm happy for that. At least it's taking home function. Wow, that's very great. Okay. You said you are lacking behind in arrays and pointers. Okay, there's no problem. We are going to have that particular class again. We are going to have a session where we are going to discuss both pointers and arrays together. So that should not be a problem. Many persons have said pointers and arrays are kind of confusing, but it is not. So thank you, dear Justice. Billionaire teacher, okay, please speak.
Yeah, good evening, Dave.
Billionaire teacher, okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening to everyone.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. Also, I appreciate your good works. It really takes a lot of determination and sacrifice to be doing this. So, I have a suggestion, and that is it possible we have a repository of materials, resources that the community can access to learn and understand different topics? For example, I posted something in the group today and it was deleted. Actually, I didn't understand. Okay, that was on phi bit manipulation and phi IO. Yeah, I searched on Google. I didn't even get materials, and everything was just so confusing. And I know that there's a probability there are others that have materials that could, be effort that will enhance my understanding. So if we can have that place whereby if you have any material that could enhance our understanding, we can just put it there and anyone can access it. That would be very lovely. That's
Okay.
that's my number one suggestion. Then the second suggestion is if we can maybe do it this way, whereby when we treat a topic today, then the following section should be on solving problems, tasks under that same topic, whereby you can have this online meeting. You pose the question, you give answers, just simple questions. I think more than we understanding the concept, we have to understand how to think like a computer programmer on solving tasks. That's the issue most of us have. We understand some of these things, but when we want to tackle ALX tasks, you see that you'll be like, how do I go about it? What should I do first? So I think if we can build ourselves up that way, we see more results in our meetings. So that's the suggestions I have. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, billionaire teacher, I'm actually happy to hear that. Yeah, I'm actually happy to hear that. Okay, the issues. Okay, first of all, you said we should have materials online. Yeah, okay. In our GitHub repository, I'm sure you're aware that we have a GitHub repository where we have the lessons, each of the lessons and tags attached to it. So you could also check that out. But now you're talking of us having materials also online. Okay. But then we have a library. I have a library. I've been sounding it since I dropped a link to our library where you can access most of the things we do are in the library there. I have books there on different things. I have this there's a particular file there named software engineering. Inside there are links to videos on almost everything you need in C programming. So I have been sounding it since that we should check out that, but I've not really seen anybody who has opened that particular library
Where
and
can I
said
get
she's
the
doing
link?
anything at all. Okay, after this our session, you remind me in the group and then I will post it again. Okay?
All right. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. And okay, and another thing you said was after we finish a session, a topic, we should do another session in solving problems, ALX problems. Now, I want to advise you that you should not put your mind on ALX tags. Now, I was giving somebody an example today that someone spoke to me then that I should not focus on ALX tags. Remember when we were in schools, they would teach us 1 plus 1 in the class, and then when they want to give us homework, they will say 1.2 plus 1. Now, what you were taught was how to add whole numbers, and then they are giving you assignment on how to add decimals, and that can be a problem. So it's the same thing here with ALX. Now, it does not mean that you don't understand how to add whole numbers. You can add 2 plus 2, 3 plus 3, but when it comes to adding 2.2 plus 1, it becomes a problem. Does that mean that you don't understand what they taught you? Of course you do. So what am I saying? When you learn a particular concept or a topic in C programming, for example, don't rush and say you want to go and solve ALX tags. What you will do is look for other problems and try to solve it. If you can solve another problem that is not in ALX and you got it right, you solve like 1, 2, 3, that means you understand the concept well. But if you cannot solve that of ALX, it simply means that ALX taught you 1 plus 1 and then they're expecting you to solve 1.2 plus 1, which is going to be difficult. But then it takes experience too for you to start solving those ones. So my advice here is when you finish learning a concept, try to solve problems that are not in ALX. Then when you are able to solve those ones, you can now come back and look at ALX. Like most of us here, we always try to meet up the first deadline. But the program is designed in a way that even if you make your third deadline, you will still be in the safe zone. Like me, most of the times I miss first deadline, second deadline. Why? Not because I cannot go and copy the codes and put it there and pass, but because I want to do it by myself. So if it's going to take me, for me to ask 20 persons, maybe it's going to take me 10 days for me to ask those 20 questions, for them to be able to clear me on this, and I'm able to do it by myself. I'm going to do it. I'll take my time to learn it. So don't always rush to meet the deadline. So sometimes after I learn a concept, I try to apply it. I'll search for how we actually use this in real life situation. Which program can they write and then they apply this kind of thing? Where is it applied? So when I do stuff like that, it gives me more experience on writing that program. And then later on, when I come back and look at ALX tags, it appears to be simple to me. Why? Because I have explored other means I could use that particular concept. So don't always rush to meet up the first deadline. It's okay to miss it. It's also okay to miss the second one. It does not mean that you will not pass. You still pass, but just do it before the end of, let's say, a particular sprint. That's the main thing. So on that note, please, you take note on that. Don't try to understand the concept and then try to solve other problems. If you cannot solve ALX materials, it does not mean you don't understand the concept, but because they taught you something else and they are giving you something outside the box. Please. And I think that's all you asked. Billionaire teacher, have I treated everything you asked?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Okay, good. So please let's all. I've posted links to websites where you can get practice problems on a particular topic. Each of the topics you've learned, you can solve problems on that, from intermediate, from the basic ones down to advanced. It will give you experience on how you could handle other of the tasks you may experience. So that is that. Okay, blessing Chukwuemeke. Okay, please speak. Our own blessing.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Blessing, go. Yeah, good evening, blessing. I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, the network has been bad. So I was thinking, right, we have a large number of people on the group, but then most times when we need to work, it's like so many people are hiding behind. I know there's the fear of not making mistakes in front of everybody and all of that, but the way for us to make progress is actually to come out and face the challenge as it comes. It's not a problem if you make mistakes. It's really fine. But then I thought of a way that we could actually curb this and ensure that
We've lost today again. Hello? Okay. Listen, truly your network might be bad. Okay, we are sorry about that, but we can't hear you anymore. If you can hear us, please, you arrange your network and speak to us again. I was beginning to enjoy what
I'm back now.
Okay.
I'm back now.
Okay.
Please, where did I...
Right.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, so David mentioned pairing us up, right? And then I just thought about it. Is it possible that when we learn a concept on the group, right, if we can go back to our pair, that's the groups that David will be dividing and sharing the names, right? If we can go back and take the task for the day and solve it. So the next class, one person, a representative from each of those groups, will come and explain what they did. So the next week, a different person from that same group, so that everybody is involved and everybody is picking up. I just noticed that the more you practice, the more you explain your code, the better it takes. I can't tell you the level of progress I have made within this short period in this study group, just because from this group I have created, I've had a couple of people who we've separated. We make our mistakes. We pick up questions and we make our mistakes. Even though these people do not speak up here, but I know we're making so much progress because for everybody, you go, you come and explain what you have done. So I think if we can do that in the subdivisions that would be shared, I think that would really help everybody to make progress.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Blessing. There, that was a very good suggestion. I appreciate you for that. Okay, so yeah, that's one of the aims or one of the reasons of our groupings. Yeah, so that we'll be able to study together. Each of the groups is going to have a group lead. Yeah, a group lead to give me feedback on how the group is doing because I will not be able to track down all the group. Yeah, so that's actually a good suggestion, and I'll see how we would be able to implement that. Yes, of course. Um, Go ahead. Okay, blessing. Thank you for that. I'll work towards that too. Okay, thank you. Okay, so Mubarak Shuaib, please speak.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, so this is my first time joining this call. So I've been wanting to join all this while, but mostly I'm not usually chance at this time. So I'm not really a C sharp person, but it's part of my goals, to learn C sharp, to learn C this year. So is it possible for me to get like this task in a Git repo so I can clean and look through from my end?
Okay, of course. All our lessons and tasks are available on our GitHub repository. So the assignment or our task was for us to fork the repository, clone it, and do the task, push it back, and create a pull request on the GitHub so that I can also see what you've done. So yes, you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do. All the tasks and lessons are available.
So the link to the Git repo, how do I get it?
Okay. After now, you just remind me in the group, and then I'll post both the links and websites where somebody can also get practice problems.
Okay, that'll be fine. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, Pascal, please speak. Pascal Chinonso.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I trust our day is going well and also our night. I'm happy to be here once again. I believe you all can hear me, right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. First of all, I want to address the other speaker that talked about having to meet up with ALS task and their projects. I believe the essence of this group was to take our classes one at a time. If we follow up with ALS, we all notice that they have a very fast process, and in a bid to meet up with deadlines, some of us end up copying codes to avoid being yanked off because of the 80% or 70% benchmark. So I think this process we are taking is better, taking it gradually, because the essence of this is to learn. If I remember vividly in the Slack channel when you talked about not allowing any of us defer, that you're willing to dedicate your time to see that we all meet up with the learning, especially for C programming. So it's not going to be a bad idea if we continue to go gradually, as long as the purpose is fulfilled, and which is understanding the concept. Because I can attest to the fact that this very program, this very learning and this task and everything that has been done here has helped so many of us to follow this gradually. This C programming used to look like rocket science to many of us, but the gradual and the in-depth time we have taken to see that we understand this has helped us. So let us take it gradually. We don't have to rush to meet up with what ALX is doing. ALX will do theirs, we do ours at our own pace, and I believe we'll all pick from there. That is one. And then secondly, adding to what Blessing has said, I think it's also a very nice idea. When we do this group pairing, we come out, everybody go on their own. Once lectures are done and tasks are brought, everybody goes and then come back to make presentation. I believe the presentation is going to help us better understand what we have done. If there are mistakes, everybody here will help to correct those mistakes. And then finally, thank you very much, Mr. David, for the time and effort you put so far to seeing that we are understanding this. It is not easy. It is not easy, even for us that are learning personally. we know the engagement and everything, and how we are being drawn back by the things of the world. But you yourself, you have given out your time like you're being paid for it, even when you're doing it free of charge. Thank you so much, and God will bless you. That's all I have to say.
And okay, I okay, so okay, there's no problem. I've heard the process slowly. Yeah, of course, that was the aim of it. That at the end, everybody should be able to understand C programming. Now, you don't necessarily need to be able to solve like understand where this could be used, and then if you see where it should be used, understand how to use it. That is the aim of all this. And with experience, with you practicing, you'll be able to solve any of those ALX uh, um, tasks. I can tell you, it was very difficult for me in the beginning, but just a secret of practicing. That was when I realized, okay, all these things I can actually do it too. So as I told us, me most of the times I miss our first deadline and second deadline. All my work is always on the third deadline now. Yeah, because it's getting difficult. And then to get somebody who will dedicate their time to explain it for me on that first day is always hard. So most of the times I just miss everything, and then whenever they have the chance to explain for me so that I can do it for myself, I do it. So it's not really bad to miss all those deadlines. So thank you very much, Justice. And then for our pairing, yes, our pairing. This is how it's going to be. When after we have been paired and after each of the sessions, now it is known that the more you teach, the more you will understand. So each of the groups can go back on their own and learn that particular thing very well, and then host a session on their own where this person is going to explain this person explains this person explains it. You can go on to solve a particular task, and then you begin to explain how you arrived there. Okay, and then you can write tasks too, and then you swap what you've learned and what you wrote, and say, okay, you explain this my code for me. Let's see if you really, really understand. Now, I told us about an online compiler named Replit. You can also like do a collabo there where this one can invite this one, and then both of you can code at the same time. I will introduce us to it again. So, yes, that is how our pairing is going. That is what it's going to be about. That's the essence of it. And you also get to meet other persons too, so that during times of team project, you won't have to run around and start looking for somebody. At least you will have a circle of people you could easily say, okay, be my partner, and then we move from there. So, thank you for that. So, does any other person have something to say concerning our program, like concerning our community? Do you have a suggestion, or has the program helped you in any way, or you think you are still the way you were since you joined? You've not gained anything from it. What do you think we would have done to make it better? Please. Okay. Duxon said, there is something we need to know. The world is larger than ALX. They are streamlining us to a pattern, but it is not always like that out there. Just learn the basics and also advance yourself with tasks outside ALX. When you start a bigger job, you might not do C programming. Exactly. I used to tell people, for example, those particularly in front end, I don't see you using the front end. The only thing you will benefit from the front end is that you will learn the concept of programming. So when you start to learn another programming language, now you already know all the concepts. If statement, the way it works in C is the way it works in any other programming language. So when you switch into any another programming language, the only thing you need to learn is how to implement those things in that particular programming language. So it will not be difficult for you, but saying you will use C programming, no, you will not. Front end people in particular, you will not need C programming. Then back end too, I don't see us using C at all. Yes, except you want to start building text editors, operating systems, compilers. But there are new technologies to all these things. So please just learn the basics, the concept, how it works. Don't beat yourself over it. With time, with practice and experience, you get to understand basics. Yeah. Someone told me that, okay, that the difference between you and somebody who has been in the system for 5 years, who has been writing the same programming language for 5 years, that let's say they give a particular task, you can use 100 lines to write that particular task. It will work well. Why? Because they're using the basic syntax. Another person who is very experienced can write that same program in 20 lines, and it will still work the same way. It does not mean that maybe anything is attached to it. No, you are just writing from the angle you understand it from, which is the basics. And if you don't know these basics, you will not be able to advance into doing the big stuff. So please let us stay on the basics and understand it very well. Understand how to use it, where to implement it, and believe me, it will help you. Okay, Pascal Chinonso, please speak. So we can move into the next agenda.
I'm sorry I am coming back again. I don't know how everyone will feel about this, but there's a saying in my language that anything worth doing is worth doing well. Just like you earlier highlighted, you said that if there's anything we can say that will make this community better and will help the programming better, that we should also suggest. In my own opinion, it's not like it's a general opinion. I'm not imposing it on anyone. I also see the need. I also see the need where the convener of this very project will be supported in one little or the other, at least for the internet he's using to bring all of us in this very fold. It's a personal suggestion, like I said. So if there's anything that we can say about this, I'm not telling David to say something about it. I'm saying it to everybody out there that has been consistent on this almost 1 month now, and I still see the need where we can put our heads together and say, okay, for the internet you're using to bring us, and then the commitment to bring people from far and wide to see to it that we follow up with our task and also the learning and the projects that are coming, just like he has also promised that somebody will be coming to take us on how we go about the shell project. I think it's not going to be bad. It's personal suggestion, like I said. If we can also think of a way, I don't know why Wem is not here, think of a way, because it was once spoken about, but it's died down again. So I'm just bringing as a suggestion. If anybody can counter, it's not imposed, like I said. Thanks.
Okay, Pascal, thank you very much. The house has heard you. The thing attached to it. Breaks my heart when I see some cohort. No, that was why I reached out to a lot of persons and say, no, instead of it to go, let's discuss what are the challenges. What do you think is wrong? That you want to be fair, and at the end of the day, it's still the same reason of not understanding the concept. So I thought that I could just use the free times I have and help anything. You are the ones that do like that. It's another thing for you to say, okay, I will actually do this. So which means we all want our own growth. That's why we are here. So that's that for that. I'm just doing it for the love of it. And I love us too. Okay. So thank you very much for that. Okay, so I'll move into let me read the message here. Pass Suchiri don the enter Baba. Pascal Chinon, so you are right. I support you on this. He has really been helpful. Thank you very much. Okay, Oyinye, thank you. Okay, so we'll move into the next agenda, which is us discussing our pair pairing. Okay, this has been something I brought up previously. Now, I told us earlier that most of the things I do are that I take advice from our seniors. When I say our seniors, I don't mean just our seniors from ALX. People outside, like people, experienced people. So many people know about this, our platform. So I go once in a while and tell them, okay, this is our progress. This is what we've done. Some people are lagging behind in this. Some people are saying this. What advice could you give me? What could they do? And then they will tell me something. I come back and refine it and see how I can get us to doing that. I also told us that I also speak with Martin Ban, our senior mentor. He knows about this program. In fact, last week, Friday, he was the one who asked me that I did not give him feedback on the week. How are they doing? And then I told him, okay, we're actually doing well. And I teased him to it that we would love to also have him in one of our meets. He said, okay, that is not really official, but he will look into it. But it's going to be after our break. And I was like, okay, it's fine with us too. So then I told you about our repository that we've been doing things. People have been really committing, but then it's only a few of us that are doing that. So if I should present that to him that okay, I have this amount of persons, and then look at what we're having as a tax done, is very bad. Okay, till date I still have 40 something frogs and 17 pull requests, which means only 17 persons have actually done the task, which is bad. So please, let us also try to. This is the only way you can encourage me when I bring up something good, and then you also try to do it. It means you also want to grow, and then it will help me too for me to go back and say this person wants to grow. So let me continue giving them a helping hand. Most of the thing that's going to happen after now, I may not be the one to say I'm holding a session. I have list of names of people I would love to bring to the table, but then we have to do something and be active so that when I'm bringing these people to, it will be exciting. But when I'm not seeing the result, it will be hard for me to actually go on and start convincing somebody and say, please come on. It costs me time too. And I have a person. I'm also a student. I have to do my tasks. I have a personal life too. I have work to do, and I still have to talk to these people too. I have to look for them. So please, whenever I tell us to do something and we actually do it, it gives me the energy to go back and do more. But other than that, if I want to go and do more, I'll be like, they're not even doing what I asked them to do. So why am I even doing it? So please, that's another thing. Okay. So coming back to our pairing. Now our pairing, the names are there already, and it's only 80 persons. Now you see what I'm talking about. Out of 200 and something of us, only 80 persons filled the form, and it's not like I would have said some persons missed it. Yeah, everybody viewed the message, but then not everybody filled the form, which means some persons are just there to just be there, and at the end of the day, they will say they are not getting something from the community, or we are moving too fast, but when they are not actually committing into what we are doing. So growth now is personal. So our preparing, the aim of it is that so that we could be able to study with other persons and share ideas. And both of us know that the more you explain things, the more you get to understand them. Now I saw a tweet where somebody says that if you talk about ice cream every day, if you are involved in ice cream every day, you will definitely know more about ice cream. That is how it is in every areas of life. So if every day you get yourself engaged on what we are doing, of course, you learn more. Now, I want to also advise us on how we study. Now, let's say you have space, you have chance from morning till night. So if you have to study all through the day, for that particular time, don't miss it. Don't say because I learn all through the day, I don't need to learn during that. It could be only 30 minutes. Believe me, it has a way of adding to you. So you could just dedicate 20 minutes every day to learn. It will help you, please. So let's see how we can also implement that. For me, since 1st of January, I take 2 hours in studying something that is not ALX related, but is in the tech. Yeah, why did I do that? Because I have identified where I am going, and so I am working towards it. So I will always also advise us that we should also do the same. So now, every other time I have for myself, I just do ALX stuff, but that 2 hours now is for that particular thing. I don't miss it, no matter how bad it is. If I miss 1 minute outside of it, I will make sure I complement it. So I'm going to extend the time, but 2 hours, that's what I do, and then I'm off of the seat. So please, for us to just sit here and learn is not enough. Let us also try to implement what we've learned. That's one thing. So I have compiled our names. As I said, okay, I said 80 names. No, it's not actually 80 names. It is 77 names. Yes, 77 names. Mine is not included. So you see, out of 200 and something, we have 77 names. But that's fine. If those 77 people are the serious people we have, then I'm okay with it. At least at the end, I will say, okay, you took something home from this community. It's fine. So that was that for our pairing. I'm going to release our pairing between this night and tomorrow. It's not going to be this night, but definitely by the end of tomorrow we'll get it. So it will be posted in the group with the names and phone numbers, so you can be able to save their numbers and also inbox them direct, so you can have access, means of reaching to your pairs. That's one thing. And then in the form, some persons wrote their country names instead of their phone numbers. Now, what I meant in that place was you should put your country code, like Nigeria plus 234, and then your phone number, not to actually write your country without your phone number. So please, if you did that, inbox me now, so that when I'm writing the phone numbers, when I'm adding it, I'll be able to add your phone number to it, so that your pair can also relate to you. Thank you for that. So the names will be released by the end of tomorrow, latest. So now let's move into the main business of today, our party for today, which is us writing a program that is going to pair all these names. Now look at the names we have. I have brought the names out already in strings, in quotes. I sat down to do this and I saved it here so that we could actually use it to do what we are going to do. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it in the comment box so that anybody who wants to copy it and keep, so that they can also write the program we'll be rewriting now. Pascal said she's playing with a beautiful lady. How am I going to know if the lady is beautiful when I've not seen anybody here? Oh, this way it ends. I can't copy everything. Okay, that means I'm going to paste it in our group chat. Please. Pascal, please, I don't know any beautiful lady. I have not seen anybody's face. I've not seen anybody's face yet to a beautiful lady. Okay, so I was also thinking that one of these days we are going to have a video session so that we can get to meet ourselves, but that's by the way. Okay, so now let's start in building our program. So the program was that with the names we have, we are going to create a program. Now, every time we run the program, it's going to randomly group 3 persons. For example, I have, let's see this. For example, excuse me, let me turn on my light. Okay. For example, I have Blessing, Pascal, Tolakele, Christiana, Justice. Let's say I just have a whole of us here. And then every time we run the program, we'll have groups of 3 names, which means we'll have group 1. I hope they can hear me. So we have group 1, 3 names, and group 2, 3 names, like that till the end of the groups. So that's what our program is going to be all about. And I've been saying it in the group, so I believe some of us must have thought about it. So now I'm going to open another session for us so that we can unmute our mic and talk. You raise up your hand first before you talk. Now, what do you think we need for this program? Because I know we must have thought about it. What do you think we need in this program? What function do you think we should write? What structure do you think the program should take? I just want ideas on how we could achieve this now. This is that time for this. This is where we do our live session, our coding session. So please, what do you think we need in the program? What do you think we should do? The steps we should take? Now, this is time for our suggestion. So you can raise your hand up here and I'll give you a chance to speak and then we'll share ideas. Okay. Bright in Yabasi. Okay, Bright, please speak. Bright, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. So I was thinking, instead of having the names in strings, can we have numbers attached to each name so that we can easily randomize those, as in pair them based on the numbers that they have? Because if you have to have strings, it means we have to, we have to consider space too. So strings will take up more space than having integers. I know that's just what I'm thinking, sure.
Okay, when you say numbers attached to it, how do you mean? Like I'll have number 1 and then I'll have the person's name?
Yes, like on that other file that you open, not on this place. Then on this thing from yes, on this file. I don't know, that's what I was thinking. That
okay, so for each name, I should have a number attached to it.
Yes, then we can now use the numbers to to do the pairing.
So we shouldn't have names. We should have numbers.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. I understand that because of space too. But then, so that it will not stress us in identifying numbers. So that means I will need to also structure this and write it again and have the names in numbers so that whenever it comes out in numbers, I have to come and check here. So, okay, which number is this person, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that is going to take time too. It's going to include processes. So I was just thinking that whenever we run the program, to just print us the names in groups of 3. Yeah, but that's a good thing too in terms of your reasons that because of space. Of course, in C programming we're always about space. But then I think it's going to cost us more. So I don't know, it's going to cost, but actually since everybody is going to write the program, you are going to write yours. So you can implement that in yours too, and then we'll see it. Okay?
All right.
Okay, please. I'll paste the names. I'm supposed to paste it in the WhatsApp group, but okay. Okay, I'm going to paste the names in the WhatsApp group. So we can all have the names as strings or whatever you want to use it for. So does anybody have an input? What steps do you think we should do, or what do you think we should do? Just how do you think our program should be structured? I just want ideas. Come on, we've learned all these things so far. Everything we are going to be doing now is going to be on this. Okay, that was a mistake. Okay. So any input? I'll call names. Okay, Junior, please speak.
Hello. You
Okay,
understand
hello,
me?
Junior. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
you
understand
hear me?
you.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
So what I was thinking is that maybe you can use like arrays, like two-dimensional arrays, the one to store the numbers of those names, and the other to store the names, of course. Then we can we can loop through them so that whenever the program is run, it can randomly group those 3 persons using arrays, combining them with strings. That's what I was thinking. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. So what you're saying is that we should store the names in string. As an array of strings. Yeah, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask. Let me just to be clarified so that everybody can know what you're talking about. So I should do something like this. Names, and then something like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then our name should go inside of that. Then I close it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no problem. Okay, that's one step. Somebody has told us what he thinks we should also do. Okay, so please, I want more input. We've learned all these things. If this is for you to just say we should declare a variable, please, I need your contribution. It's going to tell me that, okay, you've been around and you've learned a few things. So your contribution in this particular program is needed. Okay, Susan, please speak.
I was
Susan?
about. Hello.
Hello, Susan.
Hello.
Oh.
Susan, we can hear you.
I was of the suggestion that since we've done certain tests to test our knowledge, maybe we can use that maybe to group those who are a bit strong, those who are just starting, and those who are middle, so that the groups can be a bit balanced.
Seems Mr. David is out.
Maybe it's because of the network. We can wait for a little bit. We'll be back.
Okay. Hello guys, sorry, my network went totally off. Surprise.
Yes, welcome back.
Okay, thank you. Very. My network just went off there. Okay, so I'm back again. I'll present again. So somebody was actually speaking. Susan, please, I lost you there. Help me rephrase on what you said, please.
I was of the suggestion that since we've been doing some tests, maybe we can use that to maybe put us in those groups so that we can have a bit of balance between those who are more knowledgeable per se, and those who are just starting off, and those who are like middle, so that we can all help each other.
Okay, there's no problem. I'm actually considering that to pair us in terms of our power. Yeah, I will do just that, Susan. Thank you for that. Okay, so we are still on our program. Please, I need suggestions, okay, from everybody on how we are going to write this particular program. Okay, some persons are now. Thomas, please speak. Let's hear from you, sir. Okay, hello, Thomas.
Yes. Yeah, so my suggestion was we can use a linked list to actually get the whole list. We take the first name, then we give it the first node, then the last name we give it the last node, then we can traverse through the entire list. Then within the traversed list, we can give the conditions the way Susan has said. If let's say you have higher grades and all that. So that was my suggestion.
Okay, thank you very much. But that's kind of advanced for my people here. Yeah, because we've not studied that. So basically what we want to write in the program should be something basic, everything we've done so far. We shouldn't go outside with what we've done. Okay, if not, nobody's going to follow. Okay. So but please, that's a very good idea too. And since we are all going to be on the program, I would like you to also write yours like that so that you can also present it. Now we have a GitHub repository. I've made this is going to be available, so you can also write yours here so that everybody can also see it, okay, and learn from it and see how you apply that. Please, I appreciate that. Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
welcome.
So Blessing Chukwunwike, please speak.
Okay, I was going to say on the code we were writing, after since we have been able to declare a string of pointers, right, for the name, an array of pointers. I think the next thing we're supposed to do is to declare the name, the number of elements.
Okay.
Declare a variable for the number of elements. Yes.
Okay. When you say number of elements, how do you mean?
What I mean is like a variable, maybe int n to represent the number of names or whatever, so that when we're working with our code, that can help with the iteration.
Okay, let me just to be sure. It should be of int type.
Yes, of int type.
Okay, so I can just name it num equals to what?
Yeah. It's supposed to represent the size, right?
Size of.
It's supposed to
of all the
size
names
of string, the size of the string or whatever we're creating.
Okay, wait. I just want to understand it so that everybody can also follow up. So if I should do something like that, since we have 77 names, I should do something like this. Is that what you mean?
No.
Okay. So what number should I write?
The size of names.
Okay.
Divided
Like
by
size of Like
Their
this?
names. Yes.
Okay. Divided by
the size of one element.
size of one element. You mean
So the
num?
one element will be like name with the boxed what do you call it?
Like this?
Yes. And
Like
then we
this?
put yes, something like that.
Okay, so please explain to us what is this going to do?
Okay. This represents the size, this space, or the space that will be used for this program, I guess.
Okay,
For the
so where
variables,
should I? Okay, so where should I put this num? Where is this num? Where?
I didn't get that.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we going to be using this num? Like, in which part of the program?
Okay. Yes. For us to be able to work with this, we would require a for loop. In my opinion.
A for loop. Okay. Okay. So this is where we'll use the num.
Yes, we're going to use the num because if we're using I for iteration, then we want to say that I should be less than the size. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a suggestion. It's not something I've done before.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm actually understanding what you're saying. So you're saying instead of us using a particular digit, we just use num as where our loop should run to, right?
Yes, or we can actually use the total number. You said it's 77 names, so I think we can also use 77 without putting this formula. But basically, this is the formula to calculate it, so we can just put the 77 there.
Okay, good. So for this input now, somebody has learned that instead of you just doing the 77, of course, you might have to add more names at some point. So you won't add names here, and then you start to calculate how many names that add. But with this formula, no matter how many names you add, your program will still work successfully without you having to stress yourself. So I believe somebody has learned this too. I'm blessing. Thank you for that. Okay.
You're welcome, sir.
So this is why I said everybody should bring in input because we are going to learn from it. Okay, somebody said, hello, David. I would like to be included in the pairing list. I've not been available for a while. Lawrence, Jimmy. Okay, Lawrence. Now, our deadline has passed. I wonder where you were when I posted that, but there's no problem. Since you've said we should add you, of course, we're going to add you. So you inbox me on WhatsApp with your name, or just go on to fill the form. Okay, I've not reviewed the link yet. So just go on to fill the form. The link to the form is in the group. You can see it. You can inbox me and I'll get it to you. Okay, so let me just read out something. Yes, Blessing is right because we don't know the size of names. Thank you, Blessing. Okay, thank you for that too. Just she has read that. Okay, so Brighton Niabasi, please go on.
All right, thank you. That was a very nice suggestion by Blessing.
Okay.
I would like to. Can you go back to the code? Okay. So that's we have size of names then slash size of names in square bracket 0. I want to understand why that's 0.
0. Okay. Blessing, this is your line of code. So please, we'll come back and explain to us.
But then second question. I think size of it, does it normally take? I thought it takes like the name of an integer, the name of a data type, instead of just the name of a variable. I'm not sure. I just want to confirm.
Okay. I understand what you're trying to ask. You are saying that this takes just the name of a variable, like to say size of int, right?
Yes, the name of a data type.
A data type, like saying size of int, and then it tells you the size of int, which is 4.
Yeah.
Okay, of course. Okay, you can also use it to check the size of any other thing aside from. Now, names here is also a data type. Like when you declared it here, you declared it with a data type. So in this case now, names is also a char. Okay? So when you say size of names, you're also saying size of this. But then it includes plenty things, which means the size may not really be 1 as it used to be. The size may change. So you can use it to check size of anything at all, other than just checking the data type as it is. So I'm going to call on Blessing now to clarify us again on why we used the 0 here. So Blessing, if you are there, please unmute your mic and
Okay,
say something to
I'm
us.
here. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be 0. You just have to pick one of your variable. That's one of the string, right? It could be 3, it could be 5. It's just one, as long as it's one of the string. That's an element of the string. It's just like saying 57 divided by 1. You understand? Yes. So if we decide to pick the name of that one, it doesn't change anything. So even if we put 3, it's still referring to one of the names, right? So that's basically it. So it's like the total size divided by one of it.
That's irrespective of how long the name is, right?
Irrespective of how long. So even if we use 53, it's still referring to one of the names, right? So it will still work.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so Bright, I believe you've understood that.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay, no problem. Please, if you don't at any point, you can always reach out to anybody. Everybody's on the WhatsApp group. You can reach out to Blessing there, reach out to me or any other person you're comfortable with. That's the aim of this whole thing. Okay, okay, so Ibrahim Abdulaziz. Please.
Okay, good evening. I just wanted, I wanted to try to explain that line of code. Maybe I can explain it a little bit better. Maybe the person will understand. Okay. So yes, now so what we're trying to do with this size of name divided by size of the name, like with one particular element of the whole list is to get the size of the whole list. So for example, let's say the size, let's say name is int. And we all know the size of an int is 4 bytes. So we have like let's say we have 5 elements in this in this array. So that would be 4 times 5. That would be 20. So we have 20 to be our size of name in this instance. And so we want to know the total number of elements. So we have 4 times 5, that's 20. So when we divide it by 1, the size of one member of that element. So we are going to get this. We are going to get the number of the total. We are going to get the total number of elements in the array. I don't know if that is clear enough. It's just like a mathematical formula. Like once you get, the size of, an int, then multiply by the total number of of elements you have, then divide by 1.
Okay, please excuse me. I want you to put it down in mathematics way so that you will really, really understand. So let's say I want to actually do this thing by writing it. Our names is 77 here. So how should I write it?
Okay, so we know a character, size of a character is 1, right?
Okay. Yes.
Yes. So that's and then we know we have 77 names.
Yes.
So that's so we are using the size of. So we're just telling the compiler, okay, get the size of a character, and we know that the size of a character is 1 byte. So then it will multiply it by the total number. We don't need to even do that ourselves. It will be multiplied by the total number of of strings we have in the array. So that will give us 70. Yes. So we have 77. So when we now say size of where we can choose this one is just like iterating, choosing one element of the array. So we have 77 now. We can just choose any one of them. Since we know one, the size of 1 will be 1. So that was why I use an int. So yes. So no matter if you increase the size of this array, if you add elements to it, the cell where we have 1 times 77 is going to increase. The compiler does that automatically. So what about if we increase it here to 78, we add more elements to the array. So yeah, I think you understand. So if you add more elements to the array there, so this will be done automatically. What we just need to do is declare the size of, then we use the size of one element to divide it, so we get the total number of elements.
Okay.
Say again.
No. Ibrahim, did you say? Okay. That was a very good explanation. Even me myself, I was beginning to enjoy it more, but I almost gave him the whole thing to speak on. So that was good. So I want to believe that Bright, you understand it now, or any other person who is here, you understand what the size of operator is doing now. So this is just it mathematically. So if this was of int type, here it should be 4. If that was int, it's going to be 4. 4 times 77 divided by one of these, and one of these would have been 4 also. By the end, you will get the actual size of names. Okay, so that was that. Now, that was a very interesting explanation, adding to what Blessing also said. Okay, so that's the essence of this particular session. So that we'll get to learn all these things. The little things we thought we knew, we'll learn it. Okay, so exclusive. Please speak.
I beg, make una no vex. So I'm not actually about the code. Because as you guys were doing the code, I'm kind of scared, May not be like say, now we dollars you go put for one group, you understand? So I'm just saying, maybe just a suggestion. I think every team that is to be created, a leader is very important in each team. And I think being a leader in a team is kind of a responsibility. And I've seen maybe some of people right here in this place that, they have been showing traits of, can just maybe throw up people like me. You can just recognize themselves or based on the testing which people have done before. I think once we can have dedicated team leaders for each team, then finding members for them will be very, very much more easier. So I'm just trying to say it like that.
Okay, great. So what you are saying now is in every team there should be a leader whose hand is strong, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, what if in the case of that everybody we have, like the 77 of us, our hands are not strong? What do we do in this case?
There must be now. At least we have Pascal, we have Blessing, we have.
Now, so we'll give them 3 persons. What of the rest of the persons? What do we do to them? So, but actually, I understand what you're saying, and that is what I'm working on too, so that we can pay ourselves in terms of our strength. Yeah, but not everybody actually feels the bond. Now, just look at out of 200 persons, we have 77, more than 200 of us. We have 200 up. That's all we have, because we have different community groups inside the community. So it's not only the PL group that was actually participating in this, other groups participating, and then we have just 77. So it's possible that the guys you really think of to be the bone now, then the way we can pay ourselves, and we still learn. We've been learning all this while, so this one is not going to stop us from learning. And if it happens that the 3 of you are the weak ones, you can actually decide to be the strong one. It's a responsibility, and it's a platform for you to also learn more. Yeah. Sometimes, let me tell you a secret. Do you know, sometimes there's somebody from Cohort 6 that met me for a particular thing, their project. Now, I did not understand what he was saying, but he was explaining is that I should help him. Perhaps he thought I was maybe in a higher cohort or in the same cohort with him. He was explaining, as he was explaining, I was lost. I was just there listening. So I was like, okay, no problem. Let me look at it. He sent a screenshot of everything. Let me look at it. I also give him feedback. What did I do? I could not tell him that I don't know it at this point. The way he was talking, he was like, okay, this guy knows the answer. So if I should tell him that I don't know, he will just give up on the whole thing. So the only thing I gave him was the hope that, okay, hold on, let me check on it on my own, then I'll get back to you. What did I do? I just went on to do research, ask questions, reach out to other people. I tried to link him up with somebody in his cohort, but he somehow refused. So I was in a position to say, okay, I have to do whatever I have to do. So I just reached out to them. They explained to me. In the process, I learned that too. So when I get to that point too, I'm not going to stress myself over that particular thing again because I understood it in the process. So I went back to him and then I explained to him. We did it together in a session. We wrote the code and at the end, he did everything completely. So what am I saying? You don't have to wait for somebody who is very strong to come and handle you. You can decide to be the strong one. Go on to learn it. You're helping yourself in the process, and then you also help your peer. So sometimes when I realize that I have a session for some people to come and teach, I have to go and do more research and learn things ahead so that I will also be able to give out. So that's just it, exclusive. But I will try my possible best to pay us.
Yeah, sorry for intervening, but I just think maybe being a team leader doesn't mean maybe you should really sabi like that, but at least just be able to coordinate the others. Because if there's a situation whereby there are people in a team and everybody is just unserious, I think the purpose of that team will be really fulfilled. And maybe just have the opportunity, maybe, they are outspoken people,
Yeah,
you can just coordinate others, put them to other, like we have class today. It doesn't really mean that it must be someone that really knows stuff like that. So I'm just saying it as a...
Okay, good. So now I've noted you down now to also be a team leader. There's nothing you can do about it already.
No, I'll be a serious person. I'm just saying it like...
I love the serious one. So you're automatically a leader here. Okay? So just know that in your group, you are a leader in your group. Okay, so that was a good input. So we are still on our program. So in our program here, let me remind us. Okay, before that, Junior, please speak. Let me watch time so we can start our job. Okay, Junior, please.
Back on the program.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe we are trying to solve this, right? But maybe you can make it... You're not hearing me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, what I was saying is that maybe you can try to do it step by step.
Okay, yeah.
Now we have
declared
the variables. Maybe you can check that whether it can print the names. We start by printing the names, or maybe you can start looping through them step by step so that maybe we can take a short time on that to solve this program step by step. That's a suggestion I was giving.
Okay, of course. We'll take it step by step. I'm watching time too because I know in some places it's very, very late now. Okay. So I'm going to start now. So before then, somebody's hand is up. So this should get off my screen now. Okay. Ibrahim, please speak. So we'll start now.
Okay. I actually want to talk about the code, like the program we're writing. So like this now, I think before we start, like what I've learned from ALX, before you start, start coding, something, you should have like, a plan, like a pseudo code. So each step, from how you're going to go, how many steps you are going to like make. So if I thought there's a mistake, I can easily like trace it back. I don't understand. I don't know if you understand that. So because from the program we have from what we have now, we're just giving input. There's no particular like a structure on ground that we're following.
Yeah, of course. Okay, I understand you. Of course, I was asking for input first so that to be sure that we understand what we are trying to do and the way we understand what we are trying. But before we actually start, we will look at the steps on how we are going to achieve it. Of course, it's very, very important. Thank you on that. Okay, Camillus, I will just take your own as the last one before we move on. Camillus?
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so just like the last speaker said, I think from what I'm seeing, some of the steps we'll be taking here, we'll be looking at, about 4 headers. But before then, since we are talking about, I'll still go back to what Blessing says. We say 3 persons. That means the arrays will be declaring here, they'll be storing the 3 persons' name. Yeah, we'll be having 3 persons per group. So we only need to define the numbers of group we want to have. Okay, let's assume the total numbers now. We're looking at 77. We can approximately make it like 100. So that the numbers of 100 is going to fall under arrays. That is, we are going to declare a character. We may be adding something like buffer. So the character now is like, the buffer is like a variable. Let me use the word, that is an array that stores the numbers, the total numbers that is going to participate. I'm just trying to bring out some of the idea. Then, since we are talking about 3 groups in need, that means when we divide I'm just trying to bring, I want to know numbers of groups that will be there. When we divide 100 now, for example, by 3, though we are not the one going to do it, it's the system that is going to generate it. So I'm just looking, and again, we are going to be having a form to integrate, to integrate each of the groups. And conclusively, we'll be having we'll be having the time and the string head to add to it and standard library.
Okay. Very good. I've been waiting for somebody to actually say
so
that.
So when we write all these things down now, it's not going to help us to know how to arrange them. I'm just trying to bring out, since we are talking about groups, because we're only talking about the numbers. We are not even talking about how many groups are we going to have, because each of these 3 numbers are going to fall in a particular groups. So for us to know the particular groups, I think we have to declare or define the numbers of groups.
Okay.
I don't know whether you are getting what I'm saying.
Yeah. I understand exactly what you're saying. Of course, we are going to have...
just like the last week, before you carry out a program, you have to write all these things out. Then it will not help you to know maybe the data type, the functions you are going to use, and all those things. So I'm just trying to bring out the numbers of group, and 3 persons per group or 4 persons per group. Those ones is the work of arrays.
It's okay. That's nice. Thank you very much, Mr. Camilo. That was a great input. Of course, when we are going to write our program, we are going to have our group size. Nobody has talked about that. And then there's something nobody has talked about, which is our random function. Remember, we said we are going to generate 3 names randomly in a group. So nobody has talked about that, but let me bring it to our notice that we are going to use that. And which means we are going to include the header time.h, for you to see your time. We're going to use time.h. And then std.lib, nobody has talked about that, we're going to use those headers. But let me just clear all of this so that we can start to write our program. Okay, so now, just like someone has said, now we are going to need our steps. What are we going to do? So I dropped this particular task in the group since I expected us to think about it, what we should do. But then we came ready to write, okay, without even thinking about what we should do. So for that reason, we should start. So I've thought about it. I've not written it yet, but I've thought about it. Okay, well, I wrote some things down in my book. So I cannot really say that, okay, this is what should happen, but okay, so our pseudocode, number 1 is always start, right? And then what I thought was, okay, the first thing we should do is to declare the array that is going to hold our strings, which is our names in this case. So I'm going to say number 1, declare an array, yes, of strings. The code names, perhaps. Yes, the code names. So that's the first thing we're going to do, because that's the main thing, our names, right? Then after we're going to initialize the array with names. Of course, when you declare, you initialize. So this should have been declare and initialize. And initialize an array of strings, code names. Okay, so number one is done. Right, then number two is we should get the count of names in the array. Like, how many names do we have here? Do we know? So we should do that. Now, this is my own perspective of this. I expect everybody to write it down. Okay, so this is just going to be a general session. Afterwards, I want everybody to also think about it. Try to do it by yourself from your own perspective. What do you think you would have used in yours? Okay, so this is me now bringing out the thoughts I had in my mind. So please, okay, let's get the count of names in the array, because I don't know how many names we might have. Okay, so after then, what do we do? There's a function that we are going to write, and it should be to shuffle the names in the array. So every time we run it, it can actually give us different names. Okay, this is where our run will come in handy. So I will just say shuffle. I don't know, shuffle the names in the array. This is just a pseudocode, so it may not be perfect. And then number 4, after we shuffle the names, what else? Now for each of the iteration, of course, we're just going to change the index. That's just what is going to happen. So here I could say for each iteration of index 1 or index I from 0 to wherever our name is going to count to, from 0 to name count. From 0 to name count divided by 3, which is the amount of this thing we are going to have. That's going to be the process. Divided by, say, 3. Divided by 3. That is our group size. And then afterwards, you just divide it by 3. This almost looks like actually. Divided by 3. Then afterwards, we just print our names. Yeah, so after the run, of course, you generate this random, you just print this to display to the screen. Print the name, just display the name at each of the index. Each of the index. I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be, not each of the index in this case. It's going to be at index of, let's say, I, and then it's going to be I plus 1, which is the next one in this case, I plus 1. And then the third name is going to be I plus 1. The third name should be I plus 2 to make it 3. So, I don't know. This is my pseudocode, though, depending on how we are going to write the program, but this is going to be my pseudocode. So we declare and initialize an array of strings to hold our names. Yes. Now we get to the count of names, which is what we'll use in our iteration here. And then we'll shuffle the names so that every time we run our program, it's going to give us different names. And then we'll just print names at index I and then I plus 1. That is the next name, I plus 2. So in this case, after I print these 3 names, when we run it again, these names are going to change because of our run function. So that's my necessary pseudocode. So I want everybody to just follow me closely. Please, your hands are up already. Please, we are lacking behind in time, so I will just move a bit, and then I'll open the room again for us to ask our questions or for us to drop our contributions. So as I said earlier, this is my own perspective of doing it. Later on, we are all going to do it from this place. I want to see everybody's own, so I can also learn from it, and then I will also share it. Everybody's also going to learn from it. So this is going to be our take home. But let's do this one now together. Thank you. Okay, so depending on what I just said now, we are going to need stdio.h because of our print. What else are we going to need? You guessed it. You guessed it right. Stdio. Wrong in sorry. .h. Now I have a question. Now, why did I use std lib.h? Somebody should get ready to actually answer me the question. And I've told us why we are using time.h, but I want somebody to also tell me why we are using stdlib.h there. Okay, so this is the header files I'm going to use based on the functions I'm using, my printf and my brand function. For this, somebody's going to tell us or going to tell me. Okay, so what do I do next? The next thing I'm going to do is, declare and initialize an array of strings to hold names. Okay. Sorry, let me just clear this. Please, you can raise your hand and keep. I'll certainly give you your space to talk, please. Let's see how we can move forward so that this person can rest. We started very late. Okay, so I've done this now. So I will declare my array. I'm going to make it constant. We won't be able to change it again. And it should be a string, but I want to say, remember I said the aim of this thing is for us to apply everything we've learned. So Blessing taught us how to use pointers to store strings, right? So in this case, we are going to apply that. So definitely everything we learn, or not everything, but things we've learned, we're not going to go outside of the box. Okay, it's the things that we've learned that we'll use here. So, what should be the size of our string? Size of our string, I'm going to define it to be like I'm making it a constant here. Yeah, of course. I'm going to define it. I will say n equals to 77. Let me just make it 80. 80. Yeah. Okay, that's going to be the size of this. And then I open my bracket, my curly braces, and I close it again. Right. Okay, so let me get the names. Okay, so these are our names. I made it in string format so that we won't have to sit down and start typing. So I'm just going to paste it here. Okay, this is occupying the whole screen again. Okay, so we've had our string here. Why do I have two of these, please? Why? Okay, I'll remove that. Okay, so I have declared, according to our second step, I've declared this to hold the names. Now is to get the count of names. But before then, please, I'm going to also define my group size. My group size is going to be, that is our trees. Group size. Okay, group size should be in threes. You can write your own in fours if you want to. Okay, that's perfect. So far. So, of course, our function too, which is going to give us our shuffling. Okay, so just to shuffle the name. The program is going to be short because it's what we've learned. We've not learned the big stuff. So let's use the basic stuff to write it. So next thing is for us to write a function. Now, how is the function going to look like? It's going to take, let's say, 2 arguments, right? Which is our names here. And then a variable which is going to be like the size of it. And then we just use a for loop inside of it to do whatever I want to do. So since I'm not going to return a value, I'm just going to print something to the screen. I'm not even printing anything to the screen. So I'll call it shuffle. That's what I decided to name it because we are shuffling the names in the array. A meaningful something to use. So I'm going to say shuffle. Shuffle our names. Our names. I hope I declared that as a character. Okay. That's good. Character and then names of size n as our constant. Then here should be in n. Okay, it's our function here. It's our function now. So what are we going to say that for int I equals to, let's say 3? Yes, 3. Okay, so I'm trying to think about the function I had in mind. Okay. Hold on with me. I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. Yes. For int I equals to equals to this n. To this, and I'll tell us what that n is for. Yeah. Equals to n. I should be greater than 0. That's going to be our endpoint. Yeah, I greater than 0. And then we minus I. Now, what am I saying? I will explain the function. Let me just write it. My curly braces. I'll say int j equals to. So what I want to do now, I want to shuffle our names. I'm going to use the rand function. Okay, so that's what I want to use here, but I want to store it inside of inside of this now, instead of just writing it out, because I'm going to use the function actually. So I'll say int this rand. Now we may not be familiar with rand. I will explain it at once. Rand modulo usually is modulo the variable you are using -1, so that you can get into the last digit or the last value of whatever number you're going to generate. So I would say it's I actually, because we're using I as our iterator here. So I -1. Right, I -1. And then we say now of course we are going to shuffle the name. So how do we shuffle the names? The last time Blessing taught us something, was it in pointers, how to swap our variables, right? Blessing, you taught us how to swap variables. So this is what we are going to do now. How are we going to do it? In this case, we are going to swap the value inside of I, inside of J, okay, and also inside of names as in the position of names. So we are going to declare another variable which is going to act as our temporary name now, okay, as Blessing taught us in our pointers. So I'm going to say okay, let me also make it a constant. That's the way we did it in our main name. Constant char temporary, temp for short. That's how we normally do. Equals to one of the names, like one of the indexes of the names that we are going to pass into another place. So in this case, of course, it's I, because we don't have a particular index. Our iterator here, wherever it runs to, is going to be like our index in this case. So that is that. So I've given our temp to names I, and then for the names of I, the names in the index of I, what should we do? We should assign that of J to it. Remember, our J is generating another index for us here. So it's going to be names in the position of J. So the index given us here is what we are giving. We are swapping it in this case. And the third one should be giving J, this last one. You know this function, how it works. The only difference between this and what we've done earlier is the names. Okay, maybe what we did earlier was C equals to A equals to B, and the last one equals to our temporary file. Okay, equals to a particular term. Okay, after Blessing is going to explain to us why I did not use the whole of this instead of this place, but I'm just using this. Okay, so I think we've swapped our names here already. We've had temporary storing that of I has stored that of J, that's 2, and J has stored that was stored in I. So it's complete 3. So that function is complete now. We've been able to swap our variables, sorry, our names. So there's another reason why we're having our function in the global area. We've learned about functions. Somebody's going to explain that to us. So let's move into calling our function and getting it to work. So we're in our main problem now. So what are we going to do? Now we are going to seed our time with the SRAN. We've written a program in ALX where we had to do that. I don't know if anybody actually went back to say, okay, what did they say I should do here? After copying the code, did you go back and learn about SRAN and also the RAN? I can't remember the particular task where we used that, but it is expected of us to actually learn about it. That was my first time of seeing it, and I learned about it. I even went on to write a program in it, using it. That was this game where you have to swap, you have to guess a number, number guessing game. I did that. So I'm going to seed our time. Why do we seed our time? If we don't seed our time, every time we run the program, it will still give us the same thing. Let's say we have the first group, we have names like Ibrahim, Exclusive, and Junior. When you run the program again, in that same group, you still have Ibrahim, Exclusive, and Junior. Okay, but when we seed it, in every time we run it, it was something different. So I'm going to call our function here. Shuffle, that was the name. Shuffle. And then what parameters am I passing? Remember in functions, we learned that whenever you declare a function with the parameters like this, when you're calling it, it should have the same amount of parameters you initialize in it. Okay, so in this case, we are going to pass two arguments. And we know the difference between a parameter and arguments, so we know how to use them correctly. So I'm going to pass, so the first is going to be my names.
Spelling of shuffle.
Okay, thank you very much. Shuffle, how do you even spell it again? Okay, thank you very much. Please, if you notice anything like that, also call my attention to it. I'm the one typing, I may miss some things. Thank you very much there. Okay, and then, of course, if you look at our function, what do we have? We have this, right? And we have this here. Now, what did we say it should happen in the for int? This equals to this equals to this. This should happen. Now, this is acting like our group size here. So this iteration is going to run from 80. For example, I use 80 there. It's going to run from 80, right? This is our initialization stage. Then where should it stop when it gets to 0? Remember, in an array, we count it from 0 to wherever we are going to. So to be greater than 0, that's our endpoint. And then I minus means we are counting down. Okay, so for each of the iteration, it will remove one value and count down. Then what happens next? We store our round function inside of J. Now, what is this round function does? It generates a particular number from a 0 to 32,000 or something. I can't remember the value, but you can also check it out. That is what it does. Okay, but you can also make it to generate a particular number from 0 to 6. This is where I do it. I'll say, okay, end at 6. Okay, so that is that. So why am I using I here? Of course, because I is our iterator. I is counting like our number here from 0 to 80, right? Now, 80 minus 1, that is, you know how this thing works. That is going to be 0 to 79. Okay, this is why the minus 1 is there. So we can access our last value there. That's where it ends. Now, this is where we swap our variables. I don't even need to explain this for us because we've done this twice. When we did functions, how to call our function by reference, we solved a task doing something like the swap. And Blessing also took us on pointers, which she taught us how you could use your pointer to access the value stored in a memory address. We also did this. So I believe we understand this. So when we call our function with our names, which is everything we have, what is going to happen? It's going to iterate from this through n. N here is the 80. So it will run from 1 to this. And when it happens, it generates random number from this, from 0 to where we are going. Okay, and what happens? It swap the names here. That is what our function is doing. There's no rocket science. This is just going to swap our names. It's not going to do our groupings to say, okay, group 1, group 2, group 3. So we still need to write a function using a for loop to iterate through. Every time it does, it prints out these 3 names, this function, these 3 names, and then in groups. So how do we do this? Okay, so the way I thought of it is you use a for loop and run from 0 to 80, which is our n. And then you don't declare group size. Group size is 3. Okay, and then you increment, in the for loop, you increment it by 3, which is going to be I will just use our group size as the 3, since our group size is 3. Okay, let's just get our hands dirty with it. So I would say for in something just crossed my mind now. Yeah, something just crossed my mind. This -1. Sorry, -1. Why did I make it -1? Now, our loop runs from our array reads from 0. If you have 80 values, it will not count from 1 to 80, rather from 0 to 79, right? So that's what this is doing here. 80 minus 1, 79, starting from 0. Sorry, starting from 8. This is supposed to start from the end, which is like 80, but it's starting from 79 down to 0. My eyes just crossed it now. So if you see anything like that, please call my attention to it too.
Yeah,
so I'll say for
hello, David. Hello?
Somebody was saying. Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, what you have is from 79 to 1 because you declared I greater than 0.
Okay, I greater than.
So I think it should be I greater than or equal to 0.
Okay, equal to 0. Okay, right. I greater than or equal to 0. Okay, thank you for that too. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Please, if you notice those things, you tell me. I'm typing, I may miss it. And I don't know it. Like, I don't know it. Like, don't know it. Please. Okay, so for int, do we always have to use I? I don't know where it was declared that we should always use I to iterate. But pardon me, after this night, I won't be taken. So I should start from 0, run through 80. Sorry, our n is 80. Now, why am I able to use this n inside of this place, given that this is a global and this is like our local here? Because it's in the global section. We learn about that when we learn about modifiers, scope of variables. So I believe we understand what is happening here. So basically, it's everything we've learned that we are trying to apply here. I just wanted us to do that. Now, our increment, I said we increment it with in 3s. So I could say I plus or equals to 3. But instead of that, we make it dynamic, which is our group size. Say our group size. That makes sense now. Size. Okay. So for that equals to this and this equals to that, what should happen? What should happen? Remember, we are doing groups. So we should not just do we should just not put names like Blessing, and then we'll put another name, Junior, and then Pascal, and then we'll give like maybe 2 space, print another Blessing. No, let's make it dynamic. Instead of that, we are going to say group 1, Blessing, group 2, group 1, Blessing, Junior, Pascal, group 2, this, that. So I'm just going to print F, group Molidodi, then that's, and then of course it's in a new line, and then what should go there? What should go there? I wrote down this formula somewhere. what should go here? I asked someone to explain for me, and the person actually did explain. Let's see. Okay, okay. So I think what I did, it was like a formula where I said divided by 3 plus 1. I divided by 3 plus 1, which was like, okay. If it does not work, of course, all of us are writing the program, so we can always try it again. So I divided by, group size. Group size plus 1. Now, don't ask me about this formula, how I came up with it. Someone explain it for me too, and I'm going to explain for us too. Group size. Okay, group size. Yeah, I think that is it. So we've gotten this one now is this particular for loop is for our group, like our group number, saying group 1, group 2, group that. Okay. So now we are supposed to run another for loop that is actually going to give us the names inside of those groups. I hope somebody understands me. Yeah. So this is okay. Yes, we're supposed to do that. So it's like having an array inside one array. Okay, so you have the rows and the columns. So in this case, it's just like that. That's how you picture it. We'll get to understand it soon. So I'll say for int ij, after ij equals to 0. And then that same j less than our, excuse me, 3, okay, 3. 5 plus 0 plus 9. Okay. I'm coming, guys. No, a less than 3. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm trying to visualize something. I'm able to do this before now. So for int j equals to 0, starting from 0, group size, j less than our group size, and it should also, so this is something that I calculated. So we'll see how it works. I'll explain it line by line. Definitely able to get to understand it. So what should happen in this one? You should print F. Remember, these are our names. This is where we are printing our names now. You should print, of course, our names. And then you put a new line. Yes, put a new line. And then it should be here. This was where I was talking about this. Okay. Let me just go on. In the index of where should it print? Should be in I. Okay. I will explain it. This one is my code. And then, of course, this is going to print. This is a for loop now. It's going to print the group numbers. That's what T here is for. And this is going to print the names, like in threes. So after each of that, it should print a new line. Still inside of the for loop, because it will print till we exhaust this. Okay, let me just go through it again and then let me explain the code now one after the other. So I have this. So I have our start here. Let me start from the beginning, our pseudocode. So we said we were going to declare an array and initialize with our names. We've done that, very understandable. We'll get the count of names. Count of names. This is actually our count of names. That's not our count of names. That's our count of names, basically. 80 is a constant. And now we have shuffled the names, which was what our function did. And then for each of the iteration of the index from 0 to our count of name, which is 80, divided by 3, what should we do inside of it? We print the names at index I plus 1, I plus 2. Where did I even implement that? Okay, so let me explain the code now from the beginning. So I'm going to explain our function from here. So we have of course, our names inside of this place, and the length of it is 80. It's a constant. That's how we use n here. Like we've declared it inside a variable. And then this is just a variable inside of a parameter of int type that is going to act like the length of everything. So this is where we start our for loop to iterate through all these things so that we can be able to swap the names. So what does this place do? Now, this line here starts a for loop that is going to run until the value of I becomes 0, just as it's showing here, from I equals to n minus 1, which is our 79 in this case. It will run till our I gets to 0, and then we'll be incrementing it for each of the loop, right? Now, what does this particular line do? Now, J is just a variable. So we are storing this inside of J. Oh no. Now, so this line now generates a random number between 0 and no, we didn't include this now. Now, the round function generates a random number from 0 to 30 something thousand. I can't remember really, but it's of that range. But you can also define how the range should go. And in this case, I wanted to generate a random number between 0 and our I, okay, which is definitely going to be the way it is iterating. That is how far it will go. So wherever it stops, that's where it will stop, minus 1, so we can get the last value, right? Now, this line here, which is a constant, is just it stores the value of the element of names. So it could be any of the names, and then this is just an index. So as our iterator is going through, this whatever names is passing through this place right now is going to store that into our temp. Remember, our temporary is just for us to use to be able to use and swap what we have. For example, if we had A and B, I want to ABC, want to swap numbers inside all of them. We will need to have a temporary variable that will store one of the the values, and then we can swap the other two, and then the third one is what we store inside of that temporary, so we can give it to another one. That is what this line is doing, just to store the value of the I element of the names array in a temporary variable. Yeah. Now, the names I here, we already know is an index here. So as it's going to iterate, it's going to have a particular name inside of here. So what are we storing here? This line is just to assign the value of J to I. And then this is going to, now what we stored here now is going to be stored inside of this place. So with this now, we are able to swap this. I said I'm going to ask Blessing to explain why we are using this instead of using this with a star here. Okay, so that is that for our function. Now, I hope we understood. I hope we understood this place. This place. It was of concern to me that we understand it. So it's just initializing a variable I here to be equal to n minus 1. And n now represents the number of number of elements we have in our arrays, which is 80. Just from our iteration here, we should understand it. So when we subtract 1 from it, it means that we want to access the last digit. Remember, our array starts from 0 to it comes from 0. So it does not get to your actual last value. Is your value minus 1, your last value minus 1. For example, our 89 is going to end up from 0 to 79, which is still 80. Okay, so that's what that was doing. And I've explained all of them generally. So we'll go into our main function here. Excuse me. So we'll go into our main function here where I seed this. Now, this seed here is a function call that is going to set the value for the random where is our random generator? Okay, our random generator. Now, if I don't use this as I explained earlier, when I run it, it's just going to give us the same name over and over again. But when we use this particular function, it's going to change the name we'll see. That is the function of it. So wherever you use this, definitely you are going to need this. Yes. In every program you use this, you're going to actually use this. And then we called our function. Normally, we call our function with arguments. In this case now, based on what we wrote here that it should happen inside of here, we passed this to our function, and then this. Remember, this acted like our group size, which is 80, the number of everybody. And n here is what we declared here as that. So that is actually correct. And our names here is the actual names here, just like what we declared in this place. Mind you, this could have been anything at all. I just decided to be very, very clear. And then we went into having our for loop here. Now, our for loop here, basically, the function of this for loop here is for us to actually print out these numbers to the screen. And in printing it, I wanted us to group it into, to actually have a group title, like group 1, group 2, group 3, like that, and so on and so forth. So what is this doing? This one now sets our initialization to 0, meaning it should start from 0. And this is actually where it should stop, which is, in this case, 80. You can replace this with 80. The reason we use a variable so that in case you change this number 80, you won't need to start changing the numbers, or maybe our names increased. So we won't need to start sitting down to change this to 80, 80. So just change the value there, and then it works here. Now we said we are going to increment this. Remember, we have it in threes. So when I print 3 names here, I don't want to print the second group again, starting from our second name there. You should skip those 3 names, right? And print the next 3 names. Like this our group now should just run in threes. That is why we have, instead of, I can write 3 here, it still works, but just to make it look good, that we know what we are doing in this group size, because our group size was initialized to 3. Somebody might ask, why am I defining this? I can just use a variable and I won't have a problem. It's nothing. Okay, so where was that? Group size. Now, for each of this particular for loop, what do we have? We print out the group actually. So in this case, when it starts, we are going to have group 1. You can go on to do this mathematics. I did it too and it worked. So I divided by group size plus 1. Okay, so I could have bracket this. Okay, so it's more readable now, right? But anyhow, you do it. Sorry, I hope I not scatter something there. Divided by group, yeah, plus 1. So what this other for loop does is to print the actual names. Remember, this is printing the group titles. This is printing the group names in this case. So we just iterate through it again. We have our initialization, our where we want it to end, and then our increment. So in this case, we have when j is less than group size and I plus j. What is I plus j? What is I plus j? Now, I in this case, I can't tell what I is depending on the iteration. Okay, plus j. So depending on the iteration, is going to give us a value here. And what did I write here? And okay, and this should be less than this. Okay, we'll get to see how that works. And then we'll increment it by 1, and then we'll print out our actual names, and then in a new line. So that is each of the names on a new line, and then we have our actual new line to separate the 3 names from, or the first group from the next group. So basically, that is my program. I'm going to give us plenty of errors, definitely. But this was how I thought of it. These are just the basic things I believe we've done in the program. So we've done all of this in this. So I thought we should just implement this. Okay, so as we are going forward, we'll start using, somebody mentioned linked list. That was a good idea, but we've not reached there. I'm not going to run this. I'm going to give rooms for people who might want to contribute or correct something or give us an idea of what we should have done before we run the actual program and correct the errors we are going to have. So, please, this is where you contribute now, or you ask a question before we run the program and start the actual corrections. Okay, so you are open to do something now. So I will start with Camilos. Okay, please speak now, Camilos.
Mr. Dave, sorry of this hand. I don't know what is always wrong with this hand.
Okay.
I'll ask question later.
Okay, no problem. I will just help you and lower it. Okay, that's great. Okay, so does anybody have questions? Or you spotted something that I should have done that should make the code more shorter or more dynamic before we start to do the actual corrections? Did you notice anything, or is there anything you would want to say about it? Anybody? I will call names now. Just open up this place and start to call names. Anybody? Okay, nobody. Okay. Let's run our program then. Wow, our program don't want to run. Yeah. Okay, I'll just copy it and I'll refresh the page. So we talked about doing something like this once in a while so that we appreciate C programming, and when you are seeing the result of what you are doing, it makes you want to do more. So this is the beginning of it. Okay, now I can have. Okay. Let's go. Starting from line 39, it says void. Okay, so expected, comma, or this before void. Okay. Really. Please, somebody should help me and also look. Do we end our arrays with this?
You end your array with a semicolon.
Oh, I'm sorry. And nobody even told me about this thing. Okay, 52.
We didn't spot it.
Okay, great. 52 says, what happened? Implicit declaration of function, shuffle. Implicit shuffle. Let me check my spelling, please. Shuffle.
I think what that means is to write down the prototype.
No, this is why this is here.
As in, like the prototype of that function itself.
Yeah, this is not in our main. This is not in our main. This is in the global area. So I wouldn't declare and still define it here.
Okay.
I think you should run it again, just in case if what you missed out in the first place. I think it's what you missed out in the first place that affected it.
Okay, floating point exception. Okay. This is what I don't understand now. Not fun. Okay, so let's just go through the program again from the beginning. and see what I might have missed. Okay, so I have STGIO, the spellings are correct. Okay, so help me look it. We defined the length of our names to be 80, or should I change it to the actual 77? Still not correct. Just change it back to the 80. So, 80. Now, this is not giving me a pointer, something to point at and say, okay, this is what is wrong. Okay, so we have our constant here, our array, which is names, contains our names, and ended here. Okay, then we have our function. Please let me read the function line by line. Follow me too in case I missed something. We have our data type here, which is void. We have shuffle, like shuffle. Then we have this to be this kind of data type, right? Comma is there, then we have int n. That's correct. Then our curly braces is here. Now we said for int, hold on. Hold on. That was not the error. Greater or equals to. Okay, so for int a equals to 80 minus 1. Yeah, for int I equals to 80 minus 1. I greater than 0. I minus minus. We will open our function. We said int j equals to rand modulo 2. Okay, we will again. Oh, damn. Sorry, guys. This should have been +1. Yes, that should have been +1. Okay. This is like debugging here, and I was explaining. This is our doc. How did they call that? So this is the program, but this is looking messy. Why do we have space in some places and some space? Let's make this more fun. Where we have this. Did you remember when we learned about how do we call that? What do we call like new line escape characters, right? Do we remember something like this? So in the place of names, we could have this. Let me run this again. Bam. Let me remove so I can see the difference. Okay, let me run that again. Okay, so it gives a tab. Remember when we discussed this? That's sweet. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, so this is not bad. What? Okay. Names are not complete. The names are not even. So some places might not be complete.
That's because I think we have about 77 names and you put 80. Yes. So
yeah, you know, we are dividing it in threes. So 77 divided by 3 cannot really give us a whole number, can it? So those missing numbers are what we are having as null, I guess. Yes. So we still replace it with null instead of just leaving it blank, like giving it at the end. So our program ran, but to just be sure that it gave us random names, let me run it again. Let's take note of the names here. Why are we having 2 of these? It's possible that I wrote these names twice. Okay, that works. And this works. Okay. That was not easy. Thank God. Okay. So our program works after just about 3 actual corrections. It worked. So does anybody have something to control? Okay, why is this? Okay, let me just read through this. Please share this code on the group. We go need meditation. My network is breaking, so I'm not okay. I will do that, please. Oh, we have other things here. Okay, let me read. Codes the. Okay, I'm going to ask that on that. I shared a jam file with the meeting. Zebon, I don't know what that is. Please, David, why use a constant char instead of just char for argument when declaring the function? Okay, we use a constant because we don't want it to change during our program, which means it is the length that I've given it that is going to be. That is in this case now, these names I have here, I cannot just easily somewhere in the program again. I want to declare it again, and I'm going to change the things inside of here. So this is this. Okay, I cannot change the names I have in this place now. It's now a constant. So if I should declare a variable, let's say for example, I say constant in somebody's age equals to 50. Okay, this means that in the program I cannot come back and say age is equals to 80. It will not work because this variable now is read only. I can't write it. It's now a constant. We explained this during one of our in math. Math calculator, you want to make pi a constant. So it will be 3.142 all through your calculator. So I use that as a constant. Let's say share this, please. Yes. Okay, I'm coming, please. So let's say please share this code in the GitHub so we can easily have access to it. And then I'll be waiting to see other people's contribution in terms of how you write your own. Why is there a floating point exception? Call done error. Floating point exception occurs because of several reasons, such as invalid operation, division by 0, this and that. This might be the issue. Okay, so thank you very much for that. But we actually saw what was causing that. We'll watch the video later on. Our team is actually on it. Okay, so Bright in Yabasi, please. You wanted to say something. Bright, please speak now.
All right. Yeah, my question is on that constant. Since constant means the value cannot be changed,
yes.
How come we can still swap?
No, yeah, we can still. I'm not changing the content of this. It's still the same content that is inside of it. Remember, this is what we are swapping is in the index. So it's still the values that are inside of it. It's not like I'm adding another string here and say, okay, I add another string and say bright. With this particular with this name in another place in the program, and then I start to write another names inside of it. That is not going to work. You can practicalize it and see. So if I should come somewhere,
I got it.
Okay, good. So that's just that. I didn't change the value of that. As I'm running this thing, it's making me happy. Okay. So any other contributions or questions concerning what we just? Is there any place that you feel we've not done that we are using in this place that you don't understand? Basically, everything here is what we have.
There was something you said Blessing was going to explain.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Blessing, this is where you come in, please, because me, I in this case, now I'm going to say I don't know it. Blessing was the one who taught us, so I just wrote the program without even knowing what I'm writing. So, Blessing, please, unmute your mic and explain to us why in this place I declared it with, or I defined it with an asterisk here. What do we call this, or how does this work? And then in this place, I'm not using that here. And it does not affect the program.
Okay, so yeah, you were declaring the pointer. When declaring a pointer, we use asterisks. Then afterwards, we don't. If after declaring a variable, we still go, like in the course of the program, if we include an asterisk, it means that we're trying to dereference. But since we're not trying to dereference, just the name of the pointer is fine in the program. It's only when we're declaring it that we use the asterisk.
Okay, good. Okay, so Blessing, please, I also have a question on that, since this is like your own course now, please. So when you taught us declaring a pointer, you said we should always use this and. and operator here. But in this case, yeah, I wrote the program and I don't know what I did. I did not use it, and the program ran. So please explain to us why it worked without this.
Okay, the name is already a pointer because it's an array of pointers. So you don't need to put an ampersand, which represents address again to it, because on its own it is an address.
Okay. So you're telling us that arrays, now each of the elements in the arrays are addresses. Is that what you're saying?
The first element of an array is a pointer to the whole this thing. But then when you keep moving it, it points into different indexes, right? So on its own, like this, it's actually referring to an address.
Okay, so you're saying whenever we are trying to assign an array to a pointer, we shouldn't use the reference operator.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So so while explaining this asterisk here, you said it is used for dereferencing after we have declared the pointer. Please, what do you mean by dereferencing?
Okay, so if you go further in your program and you put an asterisk to a pointer, what you're trying to say is that the pointer should access the value inside of the address that it is pointing to.
It should access the
because that's
address.
It should access the value, in the address it is pointing to.
Is that not what we are trying to do, to access the value inside of it?
Okay, in this case, right?
Yeah.
We already know that this name, like we mentioned earlier, it's already an address, right?
Okay.
So it is not I don't know the right words to use. But it's not like we're not trying to change the value there, right?
Yeah.
So because we're not trying to change the value, we're not referencing the value.
Okay.
I don't know if someone has a clearer way to put it.
Okay, let me go inside. Okay.
I thought Dixon wanted to say something.
Okay, I thought someone raised their... Okay, Dixon, please. Okay, go on.
Yeah, Blessing has said everything. When you're using an asterisk for a variable, you're trying to assess the value saved, as in a pointer is pointing to a variable, and that variable has a value. Now, when you use the asterisk in line with, as in conjunction with the pointer, you're trying to say, okay, this pointer is pointing to a variable and this is the value that variable is holding. So now you have the access to change, modify whatever the content of that variable the pointer is pointing to. So now in the case of an array, remember we did not use the ampersand sign, which is the address of, because an array already has the name of an array is already holding the address of that full array block. So now we're not going to use the what do you call it now, the ampersand, the asterisk, because we are not trying to change the value. We only want to assess the value, but we are not changing the value in that location. So that's the reason why we did not use the asterisk for the pointer name.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, can I add something?
Okay, please add.
More so, looking at the code in that place, what we're trying to do is to empty the content of temp into the name J, right?
Yeah.
So it's not even the temp that is trying to, we're not trying to empty the J into the temp, but it's the other way. So whatever has been put into the address of J, we're now trying to put it into the other. So of course there's no dereferencing happening here.
Okay, no problem. Okay, we should also go home and Array is very, very big. Array and pointers, they are very, very big. So let's also go. Let us remember that this is an array. And we said that in this place, we said we did not use a reference operator here. Why? Because an array points to a pointer, right? So that's what is happening here too. This is like a pointer, right? And we are assigning this inside of this. So do we need to dereference it? No. Why? Because this is acting as a pointer. So when you are assigning a pointer to a pointer, what do? I'll leave us to go and do our homework. So it's clear there, and Blessing and Dixon has been able to break it down to us. But if you don't still understand, if you're still having difficulties with it, you can go on to check our lesson on array inside our GitHub repository. If you don't still understand, please reach out to somebody. You can reach out to me or any other person you feel comfortable in the group. That's the essence of the community. Please. So that is done. So I said I was going to ask another question, which is, why am I using this here? So I need somebody to answer me. Somebody answered me actually. Somebody said, okay, Blessing is ready. Okay. Blessing, please speak. Go on.
Okay. The round function is inside the standard library.
Okay.
So yes. So we cannot use the round function if we have not included the standard library.
Okay. Thank you very much, Blessing. We appreciate that. So I believe we've learned that too. So let me remove this and then run the program again. Let me run it again. Why does it work? Blessing, please. We need your input here.
Okay, David, this one is more than I can explain.
He's running because it's correct.
Yeah. Okay, please.
Because while I was researching, I got to see that the round function is in the standard library. You get, while I was studying. So that was why I was quick to say the round function is, but then I don't know why it's happening like this.
Okay. Let me just say something here now. This is something that we should go home and look out for. There's when I wrote a program, I did not include a particular header file, and then the program ran, but I ran it on VS Code. It gave me a warning saying this, that. I ignored it. I did not understand what I was doing, but I was doing that without knowing that I was supposed to include this header file. Till later on, somebody taught me something that same thing, but he used the header file. He said, I can't do this without the header file. And then I recalled that when I did my program, it worked. Just gave me the warning, but it worked. Now, because I could not ask him, why did it work? So I just went on to do my own research on why it worked. So you too should go and do a research on why it worked. One of the reasons it could work is because of the compiler you're using. Yes, because of the compiler. You could have used another compiler and this would not work at all. You can try that on other compilers and see, but there's a reason to that. So please, let's not learn everything here. Let us also try to do our research. That is how we learn more. So jot down all these things. Okay, Dixon, please, your contribution.
Okay, concerning the reason why it worked, you did not do a strict compilation. If you had done your strict compilation using GCC and your flags, specifying the std89, it will not work. You understand? You just did GCC and the file name and maybe the name of the output. So it will run. You understand? But if you had used maybe for instance, your -w or those strict flags, it will not compile.
Okay.
Why? Because you're already missing that header file.
Okay, thank you for that.
And also, maybe there are sometimes, depending on the compiler, like you said, some compilers, they have addition. I think, like, if somebody is using a later version of the GCC that has standard C, I think it's C99.
Yeah, I think
Like if you're using
99 or
C99, yes, or 90, some of those functions are already are shipped into the stdio header file. So some of them will run. But when you're using 89, you have to include the exact header because the header is not included, part of the header is not included in the stdio. So if stdlib is not there, it will not work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Jason, I appreciate that. I hope we are also noting down all these things. These are the little things we pass by and we think is not important, but it is important. And whenever we encounter an error, like whenever we do something that we are not supposed to do and this happens, try to understand why that happens. With that, you are going to learn more too. So that is just that. And I want to believe that after now, everybody will go on to look up, although Dixon has given us the insight on everything. But I hope after now we'll still go on to look for why this worked or this would have happened. Okay, so thank you for that. Your contributions, man, are good. Somebody said, please, can someone explain the assignment of, I don't understand the assignment of J. Which of the J's? Which of the J? We have J here and we have J here. So which of the J's? They are just iterators. So please, you can make it more clearer for me. Line 43. Line 43. Okay. So I am saving what comes out of this inside of J. That is clear enough. So this is like a calculation in this case. Then I'm saving the result. Whatever this comes out, each of the iterations is coming out. So I'm saving it inside of this, which is where I am using here, right? So if that's what you asked, yes, that is what it is. That is what I'm using it for. Please. Because of our time, we need to just rush through this thing so we can go and rest. We started late. And people using CAT, I think they are way like maybe 1 o'clock now or 2 o'clock now. So please pay me with Dixon already. Chai, book. So Exclusive said a stronger person should take up this and this and this. So if I carry you, Blessing, our tutor, and give to Dixon, our lecturer, so what will become of the other things? Please, Blessing, have mercy on us. This one, when declaring the term, what's the purpose of J? The one when declaring the term, what's the purpose of J? The purpose of J here is, remember we're swapping the variables here. Perhaps we don't understand this yet. Yeah, perhaps we don't understand this yet. Okay, what's your name? Clement. Lawrence, Jimmy. Please, can you inbox me on WhatsApp? Please. Okay, Lawrence, please, you can inbox me on WhatsApp so that we can just run through here, let people go and rest. So that I will just give you an insight on this. Then from there you understand what this is doing this. We are not, remember, we're not just using the value of this for anything, but we're using it in the index of names here. So please just inbox me on WhatsApp. At the line, only LS school I go. What if our code pairs 3 gurus together? If you get no, your pairing now is not dependent on our program. No, I'm not pairing you based on what the program is giving us as our output. No, I'm pairing you differently. So if you happen to have 3 gurus together, then the God that did it for you will also do it for all others. Okay, but if that happens, you can give us back, and then we'll give it to another team, please. And thank you for that. So, do we have any other questions? Or okay, let me ask now. Now is not time for questions or anything. Now I'm going to ask question. What should we have done? Is there any other thing we would have done in this program to modify it, to make it nicer or run in a different way? Anybody? Is there something we would have done? Or I shouldn't ask that. Everybody should go home and do theirs the way they thought about it, and then we discuss it later on. Okay, Dixon, please.
Okay, Sir Dave, thank you very much. And for everybody that has contributed, asked 1 or 2 questions, so much appreciate. I've actually learned a lot from this, our Hangouts. That's the truth. I just want to say some things about standards.
Okay.
Myself, I make the mistake too. I make the mistake most times. Like, you see, when ALX, they ask us to run and we use those flags. For instance, now, if you run this code, because myself, I know I made a mistake today too. When we are writing our codes, we should try and declare the ints before using them. We should declare our variables before we start doing any assignment operation. Like for instance, now where you're having that int I equal to in the for loop statement, it will not run if you're using. You will ask, maybe somebody will ask you, it tell you that this program ran on my system, but if you now take it to a standard where professionals are, it will not run because of these flags. It should flag that you're mixing your codes. Declaration should come first before the before you start doing your assignment and executions. That's one. Then for your code is superb. Let's see me say if I copy this one, use on my own. so it's nice. I don't have any other objection. It's nice.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And one of the things you just said now is very, very important. To declare our variable, and then before we use them, before we define them, is very, very important too. Yeah, even our functions, you may want to declare it first, like declare a prototype before defining it is important. Okay, but if you're writing just one of these small programs, you can go on to do what you want to do without following the standard. But standards are important, of course. We should follow them. That's why ALL is always beating us, and Betty is there beating people over standard. So, Dixon, I appreciate that a lot. You'll certainly be a group lead, please. Many persons are looking out for you too. Okay, nice. So please be ready. You exclusive are already group leads, and Blessing is a group lead already. Blessing. So the three of you should be ready. Pascal, Bright in Yabasi, all of you. Ibrahim, man, we have group leads here. Camilos, okay, that's very nice. So, does anybody have any other objection to how we would have done this? Perhaps would have not used this whole for loop, would have had something else to do there. Okay, let me just leave it. Let us just go and do our own. Like Bright, is it Bright? Someone said that they would have used a linked list to implement theirs. Okay, which was advanced for my people here because the aim was to use what we've learned to implement this. So please go back, and I'm going to push this now. So we are going to have this file. So everybody, please, should write their own inside here. And when you push, you come and create a pull request so that I will see it. Yes, I will. When we see, we'll be talking about everybody's own. Yeah, it's going to be nice. You'll come and explain it to us. We'll create another time like this where we will gather, and then, because this program, I believe, this particular program we are writing, we are going to learn more from it. Yeah, more from it than what we are doing now. So for those who are not still familiar, okay, please, our media team, what you will help me do now? This particular thing I want to do. I want to show us how we can fork our repository, then clone it and use it. So maybe you help us extract this particular one, this thing I want to do now on GitHub, and then give us that particular video, the short version of it, because many people are still having issues with it. So please, I'll just go back from beginning so that, unfortunately, I cannot fork this. Okay, well, let me just explain it, what I can explain. So please, our media team, you take note of that. Okay, so what you want to do is, when you go to my profile, you click on repositories. You click on repositories, and most likely this is what you see first because it has 99 forks and 11 stars. So you click on C programming tutorial. And then on the home page of C programming tutorial, you will see this. This is not highlighted in mine. Why? Because I am the host of this. But in your own, this will be highlighted. So when you click on this, it will take you to another screen where it will ask you, maybe you want to change the name. Don't change anything. Don't touch. Don't edit anything. Just scroll down. When you scroll down, there's a point where you see create fork repository or create fork repository. Just click on that. Profile. Go back to your own profile, like your own, not on mine now. Then you are going to see this as your own. When you see this, what do? Click on it to open up the home page again. Then click on this code. Copy the URL here. Go to your Git bash. Navigate into whatever it is that is your dad. Let's say you have. I told people organize your file so you could create a folder here inside your C. Name it whatever you want to name, right? Then so I CD into, let's say I have Git here. So I can go on to clone my repository inside of this place. I'm not going to actually clone it. So you will just paste this inside of this. You hit enter, right? You hit enter. Now when you hit enter, it's going to clone. So after that, what do? Excuse me, I don't even know the files that are inside of this place. After that, C programming tutorial. Okay, after that, you CD. Let's say I've cloned it now. What do? I CD into C programming tutorial. And that's it. C programming tutorial. I hit enter. I'm now inside C programming tutorial. What do you do next? You do your identity update, which is git config -- global and the rest user.name. Then you should know how to do that. You do for your email and your username. Right? If you don't know how to do that, please refer to your tags on Git so you see your process in actually doing that. Now, once you are done with that, you can now, let me ls this. You should have all the files now. Now you can cd into task. Task is caps lock. I am now inside of tag. If I ls again, I have all the tags. This, let me just git pull so I can have the recent ones. It's been long I open it from here. I'm always using VS Code. Okay. So if I ls again, we should be up to date. Now you have all the tags here. Go on to open each of these tags and try them using your VI, whatever it is you will do. Now I want to point us to something. Now if you look, this is putting it inside quotes. What does it mean? It means a file name is not supposed to have space. So you could have had an hyphen here to connect it, but instead, that was my mistake, and there's nothing I couldn't start. Want to use a file name that has a space, you include it in a string as a string. You make it as a string, make it in quotes. With that, here will be treated like it will be treated everything. It will treat everything like one, like just a word. So vi task or inside quotes, right? Vi task 001.c. Right? You hit enter. Now it opens up the tags of one. Write your program after the comments, please. This is taking time to open. Write your okay. Now this is the comment. It says write your program after the comment. Write the program that prints the alphabet lowercase. So what you need to do is to come down here, enter your insert mode, and start to just write. Just write it after here, starting from int main. That is what I expect us to do. So that is how you do that. For those who did not know how to, when you finish, you git add, you commit, and you push. When you push, now this is the next thing you want to do. You will go back to your GitHub. Go to that C programming tutorial that you have on your own GitHub. Now you see pull request. You go on to create a pull request. I cannot create a pull request now. I'm still the host of it. So you click on this, excuse me, and create a pull request. Pull request means you've done something. and you want me to see it, right? So that in case I want to merge it, that is what pull request is for. Excuse me, please. So that's what a pull request is for. So when you create a pull request, I on my own end will receive a notification that someone has done something. I will go and check it and review it. I might drop a comment or whatever it is, but I will just go through it no matter what. If there's anything, I'll point it to you. So that is what that is. Now, if you can look, we have how many? We have 49 for 18 pull requests, meaning only 18 persons have done something. Out of that was that for that. So I believe we've covered the aim of the lesson. We've discussed about the community, and things we should do, things we shouldn't do, and that's been helpful. Then we've discussed about our pair pairing, which is going to happen soon, how it should be. We've all agreed on how it should be. Okay. So and then we've tried our program. Let me copy this before I'll forget it. If not, I might not be able to write this thing again. I will not lie to you. Let me just paste it somewhere here. This is not a C. I'm coming, please. So I'll just paste it below here. Okay, that is done. So that is that. So we've covered the whole aims of the lesson. Is the pairing coming after the simple shell? No. The pairing is coming out tomorrow. I know we perhaps in time to come we could pair and begin working on real world projects outside the ALS. Okay, let me read some of the comments we have here. I think we should go and try our hands on it. Then we could look for ways to make it simpler. Okay, that's a good one. Please, let's try it and see how we can do our own. Please, but I would love to see. So when you are done, when you are done, please, you push it and create a pull request. Do it inside of this file so that everybody will get to share the ideas. Okay, perhaps in time to come, we could pair and begin working on real world projects. That's the aim of the community. That in the end, we will do something, not just ALX. Yes, please, that's the aim of the whole thing. And thank you for that. That's a suggestion. Coming after the simple shell, no, it should be coming out between today and however it is. Perhaps by the end of, it's already tomorrow. By the end of today, we should have our names. If we don't, then by tomorrow we'll have it. Okay. So I know we already have our pairs for the simple shell project, but that does not stop us from still learning, of course. So it's coming out between now and tomorrow. And okay, that's all for that. And then for our simple shell, I'm talking to one of our seniors. He's going to be with us. Yeah, he's going to be with us. He said he will create time for that. Well, we're still battling on the timing because he's not using the same time zone with me. So we're battling on the time, but very soon we'll come to an agreement, and then he's going to meet us maybe twice. Excuse me. He will meet us twice, so that the first time he will open up the concept to us, and then the next time he might take us deeply inside of it. So I was working on bringing like 2 persons, but then everybody said they're having busy schedules, but we'll manage with what we have. So he will be available twice for us. But if I can still bring someone else to add up to him so that we can cover the scope very well, then I will do that. Please drink water if you're speaking. God bless you. Thank you. I have. Thank you very much. Okay, I think that's all for that. If there's any other thing, I'll pass it on to us in the group, please. So please, I want to also make it clear that the PL group, the main group, is not for us to just chat and play. Please, so that people will not miss out on information. We have the random group where we just chat, play, post links, whatever you want to post, but you're reasonable to. So that's where we play and do everything. So you can go on there to do whatever you want, but the PL group should be strictly for what we're using it. So that I'll be able to see it. But when we cluster the group with chats, by the time I come back, I may not see the questions, or someone may not even see the information that was passed. Please, let's also take note of that. And I think we've come to the end of the session, and it has been great. If anybody has any other thing, please, you can always bring it up to us. Thanks, David. Thanks for your personal. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your presence here. It's always a big thing to me. If not you, this wouldn't have been possible. Najib has been around all along. Najib, how come you did not even contribute to the program? Hi, Najib. Please unmute your mic and say something to us.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Najib.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Everybody's fine. Thank you. And you've not said anything to us. Why?
I'm just listening to what you are saying. Yeah, so it was interesting. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I learned a lot.
Okay, no problem. We would have appreciated if you contributed because I know you have so many things inside of you to give to us. Okay.
Next time we will do it.
All right, definitely. And I'm looking forward to having you take us on one of our sessions, making arrangement for that after our simple shell, because right now everybody's is concentrating on simple shell.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, no problems. And thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you to you. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So we've come to the end of the sessions, and this is where we are going to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks, David. Blessing, Najib, Pascal, Bright, everybody. So we can unmute our mics now and say whatever we want to say. We've officially closed the meet. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. It was really nice.
Now, thank you.